Hello guys, Antoine here with Simarchitecture and welcome back to a new video. So today I'm finally showing you the Grand Hotel, which is quite a big project I've been working on for the past 2-3 weeks, which is a very long time for me. And to be honest, I'm very happy for it to be finished and now I'm just ready to show it to you. Yes, it was a very long project and in the end I was a bit fed up with it because it's very big, as you will see a bit later in the video. But I think the end result was worth it and I'm very happy with the way it looks. So I built this on a 64x64 lot in Brindleton Bay because I think such a grand hotel would be better on the seaside. And this is actually inspired by big hotels that we have in France, especially on the seaside, on the coast. Most of these grand hotels were built in the late 19th century when the upper class got interested in going to the seaside, and some cities became very popular, especially during summer where all the rich people were going, and most of them either spent their time in this big hotel or had their own house or mansions. And if you ever go to some cities in France, I'm thinking especially on the French Riviera in southern part of the country, or some big cities on the northern coast or on the west coast. Well, those cities have beautiful examples of 19th century architecture, and this was an inspiration for this build. As you will see, this palace, as I would call it, as in my mind it's a 5-star hotel, is a mix of old design, old architecture and modern design and architecture. You have to imagine it as an hotel that went under big renovations, so you can find some very modern features, but I think the spirit of the whole hotel is still here and you can feel that it's something that is quite old. I can tell you a bit about the outside before we go inside. You will see there is a big pool, and actually there isn't a big garden as I would like it to be because the build itself is very large and I didn't have much space for the backyard, also because I wanted to have quite an impressive front side for this build with a driveway and this big, very majestic entrance, if I can say, with the porch that's going over the driveway, and also because I wanted to have big trees and 2 side entrances. So yeah, that's why I think I focus more on the front side of the build, even though there are a lot of things to do on the other side. Well, not a lot of things to do, but I mean, the landscaping is quite decent, I think. There's this big pool, trees, palm trees. There's a big terrace with lounge chairs and the outdoor area for the restaurant, which we're going to talk about a bit later. And that's pretty much it. Actually, I wanted to add probably another small house where there could be a snack or a bar, but I didn't have enough space. But you already have a lot to do inside, and we're going to talk about it inside. So on the ground floor there is the main lobby, which I really like because as I told you, it's a mix of old architecture and modern design, and I think it kind of matches well together, but you will be the judge, so tell me in the comments what you think about this mix of different styles. So there is the main reception desk, there's some sitting areas. Still on the ground floor you have a very modern lounge bar, which is all black and purple, which I think is quite a luxurious color, especially for this kind of rooms where you go, especially at night. There's also another lobby which is a little bit smaller with another reception desk. And this lobby leads to the restaurant, which is not that big, but actually there are many bedrooms in the hotel, so we didn't need a huge restaurant. So the restaurant is pretty minimalistic, it's all white, and the main feature of the restaurant is this wall only made of wine bottles, which I think looks very cool. And still on the ground floor, there is a big sitting room, library, lounge, just call it whatever you want. But it's a very, yes, traditional place, as we kept the wooden walls. It feels really warm and welcoming. It's definitely a place where I could spend the whole afternoon reading books. And the other room on this ground floor is the ballroom, which is a bit empty, but it can be used for big receptions, weddings, or I don't know, whatever events you want to organize in the hotel. And this room definitely kept the style of the 19th century. And finally, the last part of the ground floor is actually leading to the basement. This is another entrance, another reception. This is dedicated to the wellness center. Actually, you go there, you have your, I don't know, your appointment or whatever, and then you go down to the basement, and there's a huge inner pool on 2 levels with a lot of sittings, lounge chairs. And actually, this pool was inspired by a pool in a real hotel, which is probably one of the most famous hotels in the world, which is the Ritz in Paris, which is one of the most famous and also one of the most expensive hotels in the world. Yes, this hotel in Paris is located on the Place Vendôme, which is one of the most expensive places in the whole city. There are all the luxury brands, jewelry brands, the Ritz, which is just a crazy place. I often walk on this square place, but I've never went inside the Ritz because it's, I mean, I wouldn't be refused. I could go inside and have a coffee or a pastry or just a drink, I guess. It's a bit expensive, of course, just for a coffee. I guess it's around 15 euros, which is very expensive for a coffee. It's not that much the problem. The problem is just that I wouldn't feel well in such a place because these are only millionaires, billionaires. And I just know it's not a place for me. I wouldn't feel good, even though it's incredibly beautiful and luxurious, but I don't know, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. So maybe one day I will go, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's an incredible place. Many great people spend time there or even live there, just like Coco Chanel. She spent, I think, around 30 years in this palace, and other people spend a lot of time there. And yes, if you ever go to Paris and have the chance to stay in a very luxurious hotel, I think the Ritz is a must-have. It's definitely incredible. Maybe you cannot afford the Imperial Suite, which is the biggest bedroom of the whole hotel. It has 2 or 3 beds, several sitting areas, several bathrooms, huge terrace overlooking Paris and so on. And the last time I checked, it was 60,000 euros a night. So it's definitely not for you and me, but for billionaires, I guess. Anyway, the inner pool was inspired by the pool of the Ritz. Attached to the inner pool, we have a massage room, a sauna. Actually, there are 5 saunas, and there's a gym, so you can just take care of yourself in this hotel. And finally, going to the first, second, and third floor, this is where all the bedrooms are. So we have 18 regular bedrooms, which are all identical. First, I was a bit concerned about just doing one bedroom and just paste it everywhere. I think it was a bit lazy. But then I was like, okay, I'm not furnishing 20 bedrooms. I'm not ready for that. And also because in hotels, most of the times, the regular bedrooms are quite standard and it's pretty much all the same. So I think it was not a big problem. There are 2 family bedrooms. So these are basically regular bedrooms, but they have a stairs inside going to the upper floor, and there's another bedroom. So yeah, it's for families mostly, I think. And then we go to the most interesting part. We have 3 suites. So the first one is the presidential suite, which consists of 5 rooms. We have a main lobby, a living room, a sitting room, the bedroom and the bathroom. So it's very large, but it's not the largest suite at all. It's just on 1 floor, while the royal suite is on 2 floors. So we have a lobby, a living room, a kitchen, a dining, a big bedroom, an outside terrace, a huge walk-in closet, and finally a very large bathroom. And there's another lobby upstairs. Yes. So it's a very large suite. I don't even know how much it would cost. Probably several thousand of dollars. And finally, the most luxurious, but still not my favorite because I decorated it in a very tacky way. This is the Imperial Suite, which also spans on 2 levels, and it has a lobby, a kitchen, a dining, a huge living room, another lobby downstairs, upstairs, 2 bedrooms, 2 huge bathrooms, 2 big walk-in closets, another living room upstairs, and an office. Yes, I think that's it. Plus the outside terrace that is overlooking the ocean. So this is the most luxurious suite, and actually it's a whole apartment. You can live in it, and it's something quite usual in big, in big hotels. There are some people who are renting a bedroom for the year or for many years. This is quite crazy actually. It's just like your own apartment, but you have all the services from the hotel, so you don't have to care about the cleaning, the cooking, whatever. Everything is done for you. One of the most famous examples, I think, is, if I'm not wrong, Tommy Hilfiger. I think he lives in the Plaza Hotel in New York. He has a penthouse in the Plaza Hotel. I don't really know how it works with the hotel and so on, but this is probably one of the most famous examples. Yes. Anyway, I think I told you everything about the hotel. There's some rooms which I didn't show because the video is quite long and I didn't want it to last even longer. It's almost half an hour and it's a very long video. I'm conscious about it. So yes, there's some rooms just like the bed, the bathrooms, the toilets. There's some rooms for the employees which I didn't show in the end screenshots, but feel free to download the hotel. It will be available on the gallery and just explore it by yourself. By the way, I'm sorry for some of the screenshots in the end because they're a little bit laggy, especially on the 3rd and 4th floor. They were very laggy. I think it's because first, the camera is absolutely a nightmare when you're going up, and also because it's a very heavy build, so maybe the game was a little bit laggy while recording. Yes. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this. It took me a very long time and I'm happy with it, but now I'm also happy to start working on something else. And if you're following me on Twitter, you saw that I found an incredibly ugly mansion that is being built in Texas. It's gonna be one of the biggest houses ever built in America, but it's a real architectural nightmare. And I thought that would be funny and interesting to build it, so it might be my next project. You will see it's a very special house. It doesn't have any sense of beauty, proportion, elegance, taste. It's all what I hate about architecture, so I think it's gonna be a bit cringy to do it, but also very funny. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can follow me on Twitter. I talk about this house and also about other beautiful houses, because I actually found this one while doing some researches about Gilded Age mansions like White Marsh Hall or Linwood Hall, which are two fantastic mansions in the US. And yeah, the opposite example was this big ugly mansion in Texas. Yes, now I think I told you pretty much everything and will let you enjoy the rest of the video. I think I have almost 15 minutes left. You will see a lot of the bedrooms, especially the royal suite, which the Emperor suite, which I didn't record in the split bill. You will see it in the end screenshots. Feel free to tell me what you think about it. And yes, I will see you next time. Bye.